Lucid dreaming is one of the most interesting and profound experiences that you can have as a human being. There's something about that feeling of going lucid while you're dreaming and realizing that this entire landscape is being invented by my mind and then that I'm free to fly to the moon or to do whatever I want. It's such a cool and freeing and liberating experience. Honestly, the only thing that I've found is even more profound than lucid dreaming is what I like to call lucid waking. What the? Wake up, you're dreaming. Oh, that's why they call it spiritual awakening. Duh. Hey, it's Adam, and in this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to lucid dream while you're awake. And man, this is such a cool experience that is possible for you to have. While I was on my meditation retreat, I was doing a specific type of contemplation exercise where I was questioning this present experience here, and all of a sudden I became vividly aware that this experience here is a dream. It is literally made of pure consciousness. I became vividly aware. My eyes were literally wide open like this. I was super present and super clear, and I was able to see that this experience here has no tangible solidity. It's not solid. It's made of consciousness. And I'm aware of this right now, and I am excited to share this contemplation exercise with you. I'm going to guide you through it so that you can grasp this for yourself in your direct experience. Because what I'm sharing here is not an ideology or a belief. This is not my personal philosophy, but this is a genuine spiritual experience that every single spiritual master, every single spiritual tradition over the last 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years, all of them have been talking about this exact same quality of life, that it's a dream. I have a beautiful quote here. This is from the Yoga Vasista that was written over 1,000 years ago. And the speaker says, "O Rama, for your spiritual awakening, I declare again and again that this world appearance is like a long dream. Wake up. Wake up." This here is the true meaning of spiritual awakening. It is possible for you to become conscious now that this experience here is actually made of your mind. And that's why I'm going to be slowly, gradually guiding you through this contemplation so that you can grasp this for yourself, because it's super cool and it's super profound and it's really the only point of being alive. So let's get into it right now. In order for you to realize that this experience here is like a dream, then we have to first understand the nature of dreams. So all of us have experienced dreams. So I have a couple qualities of dreams which are very important for you to understand so that we can continue this contemplation. So the first quality of every dream is that every dream is made of mind. So while you're asleep at night and you're actually dreaming of something, that dream is made of mind. It's not really occurring in your brain, but while you are involved in the dream, it seems to be real. That's another quality. So the dream is made of mind. There are no physical objects in the dream. If you are observing a tree in your dream, there is no physical tree that's there. that tree is actually made of your mind. And everyone can agree with this. Also, while you're in the dream, you think that the dream is real. That's a key insight as well. In order for the dream to be real, in order for the dream to have any significance, in order for you to be emotionally involved in the dream, you have to believe that the dream is real and that it's not a dream. But while you're in the dream, notice that you actually think that the dream is solid. So last night, actually, I was having a dream that I was falling. And while I was falling, I was very afraid because I didn't want to hit the floor and die. And the reason why I was afraid is because I thought that the dream was real. I thought that the dream was solid. Because if I knew that I was dreaming, then what's the point of being afraid? Because I know nothing can happen to me because it's all just occurring in my mind. So I wouldn't have been afraid. But since I thought the dream was real, that caused me to be emotionally involved in the dream. This is very important for you to grasp. While you're dreaming, you think the dream is real. Very important. The next quality of dreams is that all dreams have a subject and an object. So every single dream has a me, it has an I, and then it has an it or an object that I'm experiencing. So in a dream, in order for me to observe a tree, there first has to be a me, and there also has to be a tree. And there has to be a separation between me and the tree. So as I'm in my dream, and let's say I'm talking to another person in my dream. This was happening to me last night. I was having a conversation with someone. While I was dreaming, I was not aware that that other person was actually me and was being created by my mind. So in order for you to think that the dream is real, you have to believe that this entity here, this me, is separate from the environment. That's how your mind creates the dreamscape. It separates this little pocket of me that we call I, and it separates it from the entire environment. Isn't that interesting? I think that's super cool that my mind can create an entire dream world, and then it can even fragment itself into a smaller part and then call that part I, and call that part Adam, and then forget that it has created the entire dream world in the first place. So literally what your mind is doing is it is creating a dream world. It is separating itself from the world that it has created by forgetting that it is creating it. Because again, you can't experience the dream in the way that it's meant to be experienced. You can't be emotionally involved in the dream unless you are not aware that you are currently creating it in your mind. So these are the qualities of dreams. This is extremely profound. And the last quality of dreams is that it is possible for you to become lucid in the dream. So regardless of what kind of dream you're in, if you have enough awareness, if I shine enough light on what is actually happening, and I start to see clearly what is actually happening, then regardless of what situation I'm in, whether I'm being chased by a bear, whether I'm falling off of a cliff, regardless of the content of the dream, if I become aware enough, I will be able to see that I'm dreaming. And that is what's called a lucid dream. And once that happens, everything becomes liberated. You become liberated from the emotional attachment to the dream. So if I'm scared of the bear that's going to come eat me in my dream, and then I go lucid, then I'm liberated from that fear. It's a freeing feeling. It's very profound. It's very beautiful. And that is basically like a mini spiritual awakening. Now, it is possible for you to go lucid right now, but there's a couple things that are holding you back. There's a couple obstacles. So I'm going to introduce the obstacles right now. And before we introduce them, I'm going to read this beautiful quote because this scripture is super relevant. Right here. When you have gained self-knowledge. Wait, which one is it? Yeah, let's do this one. Erroneous perception makes all this appear as the world. Erroneous means wrong. Wrong perception makes all this appear as the world. Right perception brings about the cessation of this error. Rama, this error is not dispelled except by the exertion with the right attitude and wisdom. What that means is that you will not be able to see that this is actually an illusion, that this is actually a dream, unless you exert yourself, you try in the right way. So unless you intentionally try to meditate and contemplate, then you will not be able to see through this error perception. Woe unto that person, O Rama, who, though such possibility of overcoming this error exists, remains sunk in the mire of world illusion. So he says, that person who knows that it is possible to go beyond the dream, yet still remains sunk and attached in the dream, screw that person, basically. Or what it means is that you are creating suffering for yourself. It doesn't mean screw that person, but it means why are you creating suffering for yourself if you are aware that it is possible to go beyond it? Okay, now that being said, what are the obstacles to seeing this reality here as a dream? What are the main things that hold us back? Now, the main thing that holds you back is the idea of a solid world. This is the main thing that holds you back. You actually believe right now that this world that you're in is real. You believe that this world is solid, that it's physical, that this world is three-dimensional. You believe that this world is tangible and was not created by you. You believe that if you were to die right now, then this world would continue to exist exactly as it is. Because you believe that the world is actually separate from you and that you are not involved in creating it. You believe that this world has created you. And you are not aware that in fact, in truth, you have created the world. So the main thing that's holding you back is the idea of solidity. Now, we have to deconstruct this idea because everyone and their mom believes that reality is physical, reality is three-dimensional. We've been taught this in school. We've been taught science. We've been taught about atoms and molecules, and we believe that matter exists. Matter is objective. Matter has nothing to do with the observer, but matter is real. Matter continues to exist whether you're observing it or not. This whole story, this is bullshit. This is actually an erroneous perception of the world. It's not true. In fact, this has been disproven over 100 years ago by quantum physics, so literally has been scientifically disproven. We have seen that atoms, the smallest building block of the world, atoms, those things are made of nothing, or they're basically made of energy fields. So if the smallest building block of the world is made of an energy field, then how can the world itself be physical and solid? Wouldn't that mean that the world itself is an energy field? Also, if you think that this experience that you're seeing right now, this experience you're having, if you think that this experience is solid and physical, then what about the brain, which is absorbing this data and interpreting it and then projecting out a perception? So if you're looking at my face right now, this isn't my actual face, but this is something that your brain is creating and interpreting. And normally we think that the reason why your brain is creating and interpreting this is because my face is real and solid and physical, and your eyes are basically drinking in the light that is coming from my face, which is the real solid physical object, and then your brain basically just shows you an image of the real solid physical face. But if you observe your direct experience, you'll see that there is no such thing as something that exists outside of your consciousness. So basically, this experience right here, this face, my face, you believe that this exists outside of your consciousness. But if you actually observe, if you observe with clarity, you'll see that this experience here is actually occurring within your consciousness, kind of like a dream. Every experience that you have is occurring within your consciousness. So a very important exercise for you to do is to look at an object. Let's say it's a pen. You can do this with any object. Look at an object and become aware that this is arising within my consciousness. This is arising in my direct experience. And for me to believe that this is a real physical, solid, tangible object that has actual existence outside of my experience, that is a fucking insane story that you have made up. Because that doesn't even make any sense. How could this exist outside of my experience of it? The only way that anything exists is if it is within your experience. To imagine an object that exists beyond experience, that's some bullshit philosophy. That's a thought. That's an idea. That's some fairy tale woohoo nonsense. Nothing exists outside of your experience. Everything that exists must be here now. And this is not what is commonly believed. Most humans, 99% of humans, spend their entire life lost in concept land. When we live our life, we're not even living actual life in the moment. We're living in our idea, in our fabricated idea of life. we're living in our idea of time and space, of three-dimensional worlds. We're living in our ideas of past and future. But we're not actually aware of what is occurring now. So if you want to be spiritually awakened, you need to bring your attention out of your concepts of the world and into your direct experience of the world. And when you observe your direct experience closely enough, if you observe it without concept, you have to remove concept. Check out my video, How to Discover What Reality Actually Is, where I speak about this in a lot more depth. Realize that concept serves your separate idea of a self. The only reason why you believe the world to be physical and three-dimensional is because it helps you survive in the world. This is extremely important. You are actually wired to believe that you are real so that this organism here can continue to survive. The universe has ingeniously designed you to believe that you actually exist. And it has programmed you with emotions like fear so that you will continue to exist for the full 80 years of your lifetime. Because if humans didn't believe that we are separate from the world, then nothing would stop us from putting our hand in the fire. Nothing would stop us from running away from a poisonous snake. So, in order for you to continue existing as a human being, you need to actually believe that you're real. It's imperative for your survival. And the way that you believe that you're real is by constructing a worldview. This is key. All of the wars that we've had in the past, all of the arguments that you have with your friends or with other people, all of the political debates, all that is a clashing of worldviews. The way that you exist as a separate self is that you construct a world that you believe is real and true. So you're not actually aware that you're constructing the world. This all happens below your awareness. So you unconsciously construct a world, and then you forget that you've constructed it, and you have to believe that this world is real. You have to defend it. So if someone like me comes around and starts to question your religion, if I start to question your belief in science, if I start to question your belief in spirituality, if I start to question you, you will feel personally attacked. Almost as if I have taken a knife and pointed it in your direction. You will actually get defensive. Why is that? Because the separate self, the ego, subconsciously knows that these beliefs that you hold so very dear and you cling tightly to are necessary for your survival. If someone would come around and poke holes in your belief systems, then that feels literally like you're dying. You literally feel personally attacked because you have banked your entire life on your ideas about reality. You've invested so much of your life into believing that reality is real that at this point, 20 years into your life, 30 years into your life, 40 years into your life, you have no choice but to double down on your beliefs because you've put so much on the line. You've suffered so much already. You've gone into debt. You've worked thousands of hours at jobs. You've broken up with girlfriends and boyfriends. You've suffered so much. You've hurt so many people. All of this as a result of you believing the world to be real and physical. All of this as a result of your misperception of the present moment. But you are so bought in to your belief about the world that it doesn't even occur to you that maybe, just maybe, that you could have been fed some false beliefs. This is key. So when your beliefs are questioned as false, it almost feels like you are dying. Why is that? Because the separate self, the ego, isn't actually real. It's not actually separate. You're not actually separate from me. Just like in a dream, you are not actually separate from the tree that you observe. In a dream, you're not actually separate from the person that you're talking to. So imagine if you're watching a video in a dream and some guy on the video screen says, "Hey man, guess what? You're dreaming. You should realize that. You should become lucid. Wake up, wake up." If some guy in your dream says that to you, who's saying that to you? Your own mind. Right now, I am an appearance of you. I'm an appearance of your own mind, an aspect of you telling you to wake up. And the fact that you've made it this far in this video means that it is time for you to start to realize that this world appearance here is not more than a long dream. Wake up, wake up. Now let's get into the contemplation for how to do this, how to actually grasp in your experience that what I'm saying here is true for you. Not just because I said it, but because it's true in your experience. So this is a contemplation. Do this contemplation when you feel awake, when you feel clear. Don't do this contemplation after Thanksgiving dinner or when you're about to go to sleep. Do it when you feel clear. And then this is a series of questions, not in any particular order, but I am going to give them to you in order. These are good contemplations for you to do that will help you see that reality is a dream. First question. What is grounding me in this experience? Why do I think that this experience is real? And you have to genuinely ask this question. You have to genuinely ask yourself, why do I think that this experience is solid, physical, real, tangible? Why do I think that? And then you should get some answers. So when I was doing this contemplation, the answer for me was basically, okay, the reason why I think this is real, you have to be honest with yourself. The reason why I think this is real is because of my past history, my memories. I have so many memories of the past. And this dream seems so consistent. So that's why I think it's real, because it's so consistent. Okay, so what actually is a memory? What actually is it? Where is it occurring? Where is it happening? If you look, the memory of the past, the memory of your past life, the thing that really grounds me in this experience and tricks me into thinking that this experience is real is the idea of my life. my past story, my life story. That really cements this experience as being real for me. But if I kind of dive into that a little bit more and question it, I start to see that that life story isn't actually real, but it's actually just a thought that's occurring right now in this dream. That life story, what actually is it? What is its substance? What is it made of? You'll see it's basically made of a couple flickering images in your mind. It's made of a couple maybe verbal mental sounds that come and go, and then that's it. It's not made of anything else. You could say that I dreamed up my life story. Next, another thing that grounds me in this experience and makes me think that reality is real is my belief in my world story. So I believe that I live on the planet Earth, even though I've never seen the planet Earth. I've seen pictures of it, but I've never actually seen it. But I believe it. I believe I live on the planet Earth. I believe that Earth it's a solid rock that is actually real, and that it's revolving around the sun, and there's 9 other planets in our solar system, and then the sun is a giant star that's one of billions of stars in the Milky Way galaxy, which is one of billions of galaxies in the entire universe, in the entire observable universe, which might be infinite, it might be finite, but basically I have constructed this idea, this story. Notice that that story, what is it? What is its substance? What is it made of? Is the Earth actually revolving around the sun? Sure, relatively yes, but does that change the fact that you're dreaming? Even because you could see the Earth revolving around the sun in your dream, and that wouldn't change the fact that you're dreaming. So this world story, this idea of physicality, if I touch something solid, this grounds me in the idea of solidity too, touching something solid. What makes me think that this pen is solid? Well, because it feels solid. But what is a feeling? Oh, fuck. A feeling isn't solid. A feeling is impermanent. Huh. Interesting. If I held this pen in my dream, I would think it's solid, but it's not. So become aware that this pen is not solid, but it's just made of feeling. It's made of sight, and it's made of ideas. It's made of concept. So it's not actually solid. It's made of senses. Everything is made of senses. And senses are not solid. Your thought about your senses is not solid. Your interpretation of your senses, even if you think that the senses are solid, even if you think that the world is solid, that doesn't change the fact that a thought is not solid. Okay, next question. Why do I believe that I'm not dreaming? This is kind of like the same question. What would possess me to believe that I'm not dreaming? Where did this idea come from? Is it because this experience here is different than my dreams at night? Because my dreams at night, they're very all over the place. They're kind of crazy. They don't last very long. But this experience here, it's consistent. It's solid seeming. I can rely on it. It's reliable. But just because something is reliable, does that mean that it's physical? Why couldn't the universe, why couldn't God create a reality that is reliable but not physical? Why can't you dream up the idea of physicality? What is stopping you from, why isn't this a dream, is what I'm trying to ask. How do you know that you're not dreaming? Why are you so sure that you're not dreaming? When you talk to other people, how do you know they're not you? How do you know they're separate from you? That's a good question to ask. And then the third question, why do I need reality to be real? Why is this so important for me? Why do I need reality to be real? Very important. So you ask yourself these questions, you contemplate them, you chew on them, and you don't get lost in concept fairy tale land, but you actually look in your experience. Look, why do I need this to be real? And actually look. How do I know that this is not a dream? And that brings me to my new refined definition of spiritual awakening. So every second that you are aware beyond the shred of a doubt, every second that you are doubtlessly aware that you are dreaming, then you're awake. Every second that you forget, every day, every year that you forget this fact, and you fall back into the idea that this is real, you fall back into the ingrained habit that you believe that reality is solid and physical. When you fall back into that habit, then you've fallen back asleep. And remember, this realization is not something to be conceptually contrived. This is not something that you invent with your mind. This is not an idea or a concept that you hold, but this is an awareness that you embody, a direct consciousness. So if you feel yourself becoming depressed because of this, if you feel yourself being rude to other people, being unloving to other people, that probably means that you have conceptually contrived, you've made up that reality is a dream, but you aren't actually aware of it now. You aren't fully aware of it. If you feel a bunch of negative emotions, if you feel guilty and shameful and sad and depressed, but you still think that reality is a dream, throw that shit out the window, because you're not actually aware. Because when you truly become lucid in this waking dream, then it is the most freeing and liberative experience that is possible. It feels freaking amazing, and it also feels loving. It fills you with love and compassion and the urge to help all sentient beings feel happy. So those are some litmus tests that you can use to judge whether your awakening is real or if it's contrived. Now let's talk about some of the ramifications of what this means. Like, okay, Adam, holy fuck, I just realized reality's a dream. What does this mean? Well, basically, practically what this means is that you are the creator of your reality. Reality is not something that is physical and three-dimensional, because if it's physical and three-dimensional, that means that it's stuck the way that it is. That means that it's difficult to change. It's hard to make money. It's hard to get a relationship because it's physical and it's stuck, and it has nothing to do with me, and it has everything to do with the situation in the outside world. But when you become more aware that you're actually dreaming right now, you will realize that your internal state is what dictates your external environment, your external surroundings. So you will realize that as within, so without. So if you want to change the world, if you want to change your situation, your circumstance, then it starts in here. If I'm in a dream and I'm lucid and I want to build a castle, do I actually go and get dream bricks and go build the castle? Do I hire a dream contractor and pay him 20 dream bucks, 20 million dream dollars to build that castle for me? Or do I just instantly imagine the castle and I allow it to materialize? If I was stuck in the dream and I thought it was real and physical, that castle would take 20 years to build. But if I became lucid in the dream, it would take 3 seconds to build because I would imagine it and it would materialize. Now, this waking state, it takes a little bit longer for things to materialize, but that is how you get change in your life. You work on your internal self, which is what I'm helping you to do here on this channel, and that reflects out into your external circumstances. Also, this means that you are literally everyone. So whenever you find yourself hating someone, whenever you find yourself despising another person, that means that you're lost. You've forgotten that this is a dream. Meaning that everything you see is created by you and is you. So if you have hatred in your heart, that needs to be purified through the seeing of dreamness, the seeing of reality as being unreal. And then you'll be able to become a conscious, loving person. And that feels good inside, and then you can spread that positivity with the world. And that's the point of life. Nothing exists without you. You don't exist. These are other ramifications. What that means is not only are you dreaming right now, but there is no you. There's just dreaming. It's not like Adam is dreaming up the world. It's like, no. The world is dreaming up itself, and Adam is just a mechanism through which the world experiences itself. And Adam is as much a part of the universe as stars and galaxies are. And I'm worried that I'm going to run out of time on my camera, or else I'd go a little bit more in depth, but I will be making more videos about this topic in the future. Let me leave you with a beautiful quote. All these senses and the whole world are nothing but the mind. What else can the world be, O Rama? As long as there is mind, there is no cessation of sorrow. When the mind ceases, the world appearance also ceases to be. The mind is the seed of misery. So you believing the world to be physical and real, that's why you suffer. When you go lucid, when you realize that the bear that you're afraid of is actually made of you, then there's nothing to be scared of anymore. Also, even the creator is but a notion in the cosmic mind. The world appearance, too, is a notion in the mind. Only infinite consciousness, which alone exists even now, utterly devoid of objectivity. Meaning there's no objective reality. It all has to do with you. It all has to do with how you are choosing to see reality, how you are creating your reality. Are you a conscious creator? Are you consciously creating your reality, knowing full well that you're doing it? Or are you unconsciously creating your reality? Like 99% of people. All of these mountains, the whole world, the firmament, the self, the individuality, and all the elements of which this world is constituted, all these are nothing but pure consciousness. And that was written over 1,000 years ago. And people, the sages, the mystics, have been knowing this for thousands of years since the beginning of time. So in order for you to deny that reality is not a dream, in order for you to deny that reality is a dream, you would have to deny thousands of years of human direct discovery and experience. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope my camera is still recording. If you want to see more content like this, I'm going to be helping you see reality clearly so that we can move out of egoic, fear-based perception into being cognition, where you're aware that you're living in a dream. And then from that place, it takes a bit of work and effort to get there, but it's worth it, because from that place, then you can create the type of reality that you want to for yourself. You can become a conscious, loving human being, and you can experience lasting fulfillment. So you're not just chasing money and sex and external momentary dream objects. So that's the point of this channel. If you like this content, stick with me, share this with your friends, comment what you liked, what you didn't like. If you made it this far, leave a banana emoji in the comments. If you leave a banana emoji, then that will mean that you're part of the secret club of people who is actually serious about realizing that you're dreaming. And that will mean that you're serious about spiritual awakening. So thanks so much for watching. Hope you like this. I'll see you in the next one.